United USA 2020 and beyond. What up, YouTube? What's going down? How's everyone doing today? Hope y'all are having a good week. A lot of things in the headlines to talk about, but this video is specifically about what's happening in Australia. The reason that this should concern everyone in the world, but specifically in the Western world, is for one reason, is because Australia is a free state. I mean, they have a democracy. Anybody who's here in North America, if you're a Canadian citizen, if you're in the UK, European countries, any countries, whether they're a monarch or whether they're a democracy, there's still that level of freedom, unlike socialist Venezuela, communist China. And we see right now these rollouts that violate every aspect of civil liberties. And the damn shame about it is that the Australian people are powerless to do anything about it. I mean, here they are, they're protesting, sure. Yeah, they're protesting and saying, we don't like this, we disagree with this, we don't want this. Their voices are being drowned out by the thunderous roar of a tyrannical authoritarian government that is implementing communist policies that override civil liberties. Okay,
so how it all started was a friend of mine went to work and got tested for COVID. He had a little bit of a cold. He tested positive. He got put into this quarantine camp, and then we went about our days as normal, and then the investigators starting to knock on our doors and stuff like that. So then what actually happened was I had investigators come. I walked out the front of...
Just to interrupt you, so how did they investigate you? Were you part of a contact tracing kind of list? Or?
So what they did is how they contacted me was I have a scooter and they ran my number plate, and they ran the number plate and seen the footage that I was with the person who had tested positive, and that's how they knocked on my door and knew where I lived from running my number plates.
Okay. So then did they call you up or did they come straight to the house, or what happens next?
Yeah, so they came straight to my house. I didn't get a call or anything. I literally walked out the front and it was two undercover investigators. And they said, oh, do you know so-and-so? I said, yes. They said, have you been with them? I said, yep. I told them my whereabouts, where I'd been, everything like that. And they said, no worries. And they said, have you had a COVID test done? I said, yes, I had when I had it, just because I was so scared of in the moment, and I've been to one of these quarantine camps before, only literally a month before this, so I know what it was like. I was just really scared. It was just a horrible position to be in, and I just lied and said, look, yeah, I have when I had it. They said, they drove off. About 5 minutes later, they called me and they said, we've tried to check the system and your name's nowhere. We can't find you. And I said, look, I've lied to you. I'm completely sorry. I'm so apologetic. I'm scared. I don't want to, this is just such a scary thing. And they said, yep, righto, stay there. Someone's going to come and test you. I said, all right. So I stayed there and I just waited for someone to come and test me. No one came to test me. The next people who rocked up at my house were two other police officers. They blocked my driveway.
These are actually uniformed police officers, normal police officers.
So then the police officers blocked my driveway. I walked out and I said, what's going on? Are you guys testing me for COVID? What's happening? They said, no, you're getting taken away and you have no choice. You're going to Howard Springs. You either come with us now and we'll put you in the back of the divvy van, or you can have a choice to get a COVID cab. So, of course, I chose the COVID cab because they said, well, if we're to take you, we're going to hand you a $5,000 fine. So, of course, I didn't want that to happen. So I just said, look, I don't consent to this. I don't understand why I can't just self-isolate at home like a lot of other people are doing. And they just said, we've just been told from higher up where to take you, and that's all that there is.
So Howard Springs is the biggest COVID camp in Australia, isn't it? It's a huge network of cabins that is built to house potentially infected people?
Yeah, so they are literally bringing in now hundreds of people that are of close contact or that have COVID. So it doesn't even matter if you test negative on your first test, your second or your third. They need to, because you're a close contact, you have to stay in there for 14 days, no matter what.
So Howard Springs, wow, okay, holds 2,000 patients. Yeah, internment camp. This is a FEMA camp, ladies and gentlemen. 2,000 people, even if people are testing negative in Australia, they are being put in internment camps. You know, I've been censored quite a few times, even stuff that wasn't medical misinformation, but they would censor content that even all I cross-referenced and was able to factually verify. And now it's at the point where I've been noticing in recent months that my comments and some of my subscribers' comments are actually being censored now, which is just so crazy because, I mean, it's bad enough that content that we share that you cross-reference and you back up to make sure it's factually based, and that's getting censored, but then people make a comment and just share their opinion and it's getting censored. It's crazy. Howard Springs, biggest internment camp in Australia.
So Howard Springs is the biggest COVID camp in Australia, isn't it? It's a huge network of cabins that is built to house potentially infected people.
Yeah, so they are literally bringing in now hundreds of people that are of close contact or that have COVID. So it doesn't even matter if you test negative on your first test, your second or your third. They need to, because you're a close contact, you have to stay in there for 14 days, no matter what.